Michael Jordan is famous for excelling in the NBA playoffs, and has had some truly iconic moments on the game's biggest stage. With that being said, Jordan's best playoff series of his entire career is something that is almost never discussed or considered. If you go back and you watch this series as a whole, you'll see that MJ basically played perfect basketball in nearly every aspect of the game, while carrying his squad in instances where they needed him to. It took place in 1990 in the second round of the Eastern Conference playoffs. This was before the Bulls had won their first championship, and it was the first season of Phil Jackson's head coaching career. The Bulls were the third seed and the 76ers were the second seed. Philadelphia's roster was extremely strong at the top, as they had that season's MVP runner-up Charles Barkley, who put up some truly goofy averages along the course of the regular season. Beside him was the all-star caliber two-guard Hersey Hawkins, who finished 5th overall for the Most Improved Player award while averaging nearly 19 points per game. One of the biggest difference makers that season, though, was the enforcer that they had acquired in the offseason, the 6'10 NBA champion Rick Mahorn. He was coming off of a stint with the bad boy Detroit Pistons, who were the long-lasting rival of Michael Jordan. Mahorn was famous for being one of the biggest punishers to Jordan whenever he got to the painted area. Now, Jordan had to deal with this tremendous obstacle in Philadelphia. On top of that, Mahorn had made the NBA's second all-defense team that season, so he wasn't just a problem for MJ, but for the entire league. Obviously, the Bulls had their typical rotation, as MJ had just finished third in the MVP voting, and Scottie Pippen had just experienced his first season as an NBA All-Star. Both teams knew they were in for a dogfight, as they had split the regular season series at 2 games apiece. Now, a couple things that the 76ers had was attitude and physicality, and they were confident in both of those traits heading into this series. Prior to the series tipping off, Rick Mahorn and Charles Barkley were very vocal about the fact that they were going to establish a quote no layup rule, and said that they would punish Jordan whenever he got to the painted area. Clearly, Mahorn was instilling some of that Detroit culture into his new team. Containing MJ wouldn't be an easy task, as he was extremely hot coming off of their first round victory over the Milwaukee Bucks. When Game 1 began, Philly had no answers for MJ whatsoever, as he dropped 39 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks on 60% true shooting. He was going to have to continue having performances like that because Charles Barkley was having his own monster series, as he dropped 30 points and 20 rebounds in Game 1. Ultimately, Jordan and the Bulls were too much in the first game, sealing the victory with a final score of 96-85. Philly was convinced that they had to be even more brutal in Game 2. Jordan was once again on fire through 2.5 quarters of Game 2. Towards the end of the third, Mahorn was ready to send a message, and absolutely leveled MJ as he was attacking the basket. This took the intensity of the series to even greater heights, but after the commotion died down, MJ went right back to fearlessly attacking the rim, and was scoring from all areas of the court. Jordan finished Game 2 with 45 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, and 3 steals on 57% true shooting. After the 101-96 victory, the Bulls were now up 2-0 in the series. The thing is, the teams were now headed back to Philadelphia, where the 76ers were much stronger in that energetic atmosphere. The Bulls looked sluggish to start Game 3, while Philly seemed as if they couldn't miss. Things got so ugly that the 76ers had a 25-point lead halfway through the second quarter. For a while, things didn't improve by much, and by the end of the third quarter, the Bulls were down by 20 points, while MJ had scored 25. The thing about Michael is that he treated every game like it was a must-win, so he then absolutely exploded in the fourth quarter, as the Bulls stormed back with the momentum. Not only was MJ leading the rally, but he was doing it from distance, and eventually, he hit this clutch three-pointer to cut the lead to 3 with just about a minute remaining. Ultimately, Chicago fell just short, as the Sixers won the game with a final score of 118 to 112. MJ scored 24 of his 49 points in the fourth quarter alone, and he also had 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals on 64.5 true shooting. The 76ers were now heading into Game 4 looking to tie up the series on their home court, and seemingly their job was about to get a lot easier. Tragically, Scottie Pippen's father had just passed away prior to the tip-off of the fourth game, and due to this, Scottie was going to miss that contest. Now the Bulls were short-handed, both offensively and defensively, and heading into that evening, basically everyone was expecting the 76ers to take full advantage, but the guy on the other side of the court always believed he can win, and he was ready to play like it. As expected, Philly came out of the gate strong, but Jordan was controlling all aspects of the game for his Bulls, as he was scoring or facilitating on nearly every play. It's now late in the third quarter, and the Bulls are down by double digits. Knowing that Michael Jordan was the only serious threat, Mahorn decided to send a message again and hammered Michael as he was attacking the basket. MJ was completely unfazed though, and continued his aggressive play, immediately attacking the basket soon after. If anything, the hard foul only made Jordan more motivated. Once again, MJ erupted in the fourth quarter, closing the gap and eventually taking the lead, as he dropped 18 points in the final 12 minutes. The momentum was theirs, and despite the absence of Scottie Pippen, MJ somehow carried the Bulls to victory and a 3-1 lead in the series. On the night, he had 45 points, 11 assists, 6 rebounds, 2 steals, and 2 blocks on 61% true shooting, in what was one of the most heroic playoff performances of all time. With Pippen now returning to the roster, and with the series now traveling back to Chicago, it seemed as if the series was already over. In Game 5, the Bulls completely dominated in front of their home crowd, closing out the series with a final score of 117 to 99. And it's worth mentioning that Scottie Pippen had an incredible performance in his first game after his father's passing, as he dropped 29, 6, and 3 on 13 of 17 shooting. MJ was simply MJ, as he dropped 37 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, and 6 steals on 65% shooting from the field. Over the 5-game series as a whole, Michael averaged 43 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and 1.2 blocks on absurd efficiency splits. Again, I believe this is the most flawless basketball that MJ has ever played in an entire playoff series. Yet for some reason, very few people ever talk about it. So what do you guys think? What was the most impressive moment of Michael Jordan's career? I look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more basketball content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.